Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. It is Monday, the 26th of February, and I am Marie, episode 306. Welcome along for another week. Sorry about last week. Only one diaries last week, but that's all right. Back here again this week. And in case you may have noticed, we're also back on Facebook. They have managed to correct the issue that we had there, which is really, really good news. I don't know what was going on with that. It was a real issue. But we're all back, so that's the most important thing. How's everyone? Have you had a good weekend? I'm just doing this to get I'm just organising a screen share. I've done a pattern search that I want to talk about in a moment. Right. Yes. So good weekend. I've not done knitting. Well, no, tell a lie. I think I got a few rows knocked off on my Niata. And that was about the sum total of my knitting, which is a real issue, I have to say. And then, of course, Epic Sale is going to be here before we know it, and I'm not going to get any knitting done during that either. But that's all right. That's right. Good morning, the lovely Kathy. So it's a bit, that's okay. We're going to look, knitting weather will be here before we know it, and I'm sure we'll all get loads of knitting done. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, morning. It must be cooler there, Delane. So yes, because I've got my poncho on today. I just popped this on. Actually, it is. To be fair, it is a little cool, but I popped this on because this is. If you've not got the ratio poncho, which is I released last year, it's free. You can download it. Just look at my Ravelry profile, or I think there might be a link to it actually on the homepage, our homepage. This is a great one for vintage. Really, really good pattern for vintage. I just use a DK. It's a super fast knit DK using a 6mm needle. I know, sounds crazy, but it's a poncho, you see, so it can be very floaty. It's not designed to be too sort of thick. This will work fabulously well in vintage. And when you look at all those sort of colours, when they work together, you can sort of see some really good funky dunky striping that you could get going. Or if you've got a unicorn skein, for example, of something hand-dyed or a bit fun and funky, if you've got 100-gram skein of that, you could actually use that skein, single skein, in this poncho to add a little bit of colour and then do some solids in between. I mean, I've done so many different combinations of this poncho now. This is just the straight stripy one. I've done so many combinations of this now that it's just a great way of using things up. And I flicked out, you may have seen, a wee newsletter this morning, and just reminding everybody that, I can't, 29 days in February, leap year this year, but it just means that we've only got 4 more days of that vintage spotlight, and vintage is not going to be in the Epic sale. Okay, it's not going to be in the Epic sale. So if you're a vintage fan and you're wanting to get some vintage and stash across the winter, you've got some projects planned, now is the time to get that vintage in your stash. What else was I going to let you know about that? Oh, yes, the other thing that was, of course, in that email was our price increase on our freight. And I think I mentioned it on Monday. It seems such a long time ago now. But yes, unfortunately, the freight is going to have to go up on the 1st of March, which will be Friday. At this stage, it's just going up on New Zealand, and we are revising the international. We're just waiting for some quotes to come back on that. But the freight is going up from flat fee $7.95 to $9.25. And if you're local, it's going up from $3.95 to $4.95 for our urban Hawke's Bay deliveries. That's still subsidised by us, by the way. The actual average nationwide parcel cost is actually well in excess of $10. So we are but we just need to bridge that gap. So as you know, it's between $10 and $7.95 is quite a big gap, right? And we just unfortunately, having to sort of close it up. Oh, Barbara's saying, good morning, just stopped in Matawai on my way to Gisborne going to the Wool Muster. Well, I don't know whether you know this, Barbara, but I went to Matawai Primary School. So I know that area really well. And if Janet has jumped in here, Janet, is she here this morning? No, not yet. There's a regular that comes and watches the videos. She also used to be in Matawai as well. It is a tiny, tiny, tiny little village. It's not even a town, it's a village. Tiny wee village, which is in between Aportiki and Gisborne. And it's just on the Gisborne side of the Waiweka Gorge. Yes, that's where I grew up. And that's right, the wool muster, that is happening in Motu, I think. Is it happening in Motu, Barbara? Let me know. I know that there was definitely something that was happening in Motu around yarn and bits and pieces. So lots of really, it's an amazing place actually. It rains a lot. For those that have never been there, it does rain a lot. And the village sits on State Highway 2 with the backdrop of the mountain, which is we just used to call Mount Misery. Big sort of table, flat topped. It is actually mountain. It's huge. So there you go. Ha! Oh, we had a great time, Barbara. Well, now, what was I saying? Brain engage. Oh, yeah, Angela's just saying all the flight, 8-ply gone, just like that. Boom. Right. So if you're in Speakeasy this morning, you would have noticed that. So Claire and I, well, Claire mostly, we have got our new container of flight. It's on the water, and Chinese New Year, unfortunately, held it back. And so it's arriving. We're hoping, fingers crossed, to have it landed and unpacked. And it'll be here next month, which is a real pain in the bum because Epic Sale, of course, is on. And the last thing we want is a container of yarn arriving during Epic Sale. But in order to do that, just to tidy stuff up, we'd identified some old batches that were hangovers. So we still had batches of yarn that from newer batches, or they were literally the last of the stock that we've had, and it's now being replaced fully by the new stock that we've come in. So to just clear all those rats and mice out, we threw those out literally up on the sale page this morning for $2.95 a ball. So there might be some white full ply left, some owl in the full ply left. That was all that was left just before. And we were just wanting to get rid of it. So then when the new flight comes in, it's all batches that we've either got lots of existing stock of or brand spanking new batches to make everybody's life easier, especially ours here. So that's what that was. I know that went in an absolute nanosecond, didn't it? The other thing I grabbed with the vintage, because I know some people, and even not even just the vintage actually, just those who are wanting to sort of do and get prepared for Epic Sale. I had a tour group. I actually opened here for a couple of hours yesterday. I had a group come in from one of the ships, Holland America ships, and they I did pull out some of the stuff that's going to be released next month just for them to have a look at. And they look, if the feedback from them is anything to go by, you guys are going to love some of the new yarns and limited editions that we've got out, like really gorgeous. And one of the things that we did was just, there's been quite a big emphasis on garments in recent years. But a lot of the knitters were purchasing shawl patterns, and we've got all these fabulous shawl patterns from Truly Myrtle now in stock. We bought all of Lib's leaflets because she's updating her leaflet design and library. So we bought all the existing stock that she had, which is great because a lot of people like to have a good old-fashioned leaflet with them. So we have gone and bought all of these, and I was just going through what we had this morning, and so many of these are brilliant for that vintage. Vintage makes wonderful shawls, really almost garment-like shawls, because you can make a really decent size out of them. And a really brilliant example of that is this one here, Flindra. Which is a really lovely big wrapped asymmetrical triangle shawl with a couple of bits of contrasted colours, some nice textured stitching. And again, you can do, so just like, look, oopsie daisies, and I've dropped one out. See, look at that. You can do that. Oh, and one's gone and fallen out. Never mind. Even this one here, Silver Stream. This one here is brilliant for the Templi if you're wanting something a little bit heavier. I love this one. This one has a whole what I call Outlander feel about it. Really substantial shawl, great for the winter. It's the sort of thing that you can pick on, throw on, throw off, and ideal if you're not wanting to have something necessarily like a cardigan. So these sorts of shawls, particularly these DK shawls, work great if you're actually in those sort of warmer climates like we are here, where you don't necessarily want a cardigan, but you need something to throw on and off at the beginnings and the ends of the day. This is another one I've talked about a lot, Flux, because it goes great with the Kelly & Co, but it would still work really, really well with the Templi vintage. Big Dotty, back with who remembers our silver lining? Oh, that was designed in that. Big Dotty would look great. The one that I really loved, and this is what I grabbed these for, this is Queenie. This is quite a recent one. This was a wardrobe toolbox one from a few years back that was released. And it's really lovely because it's a classic triangular shawl. So it's a nice triangular shawl, but it's got this beautiful lace feature down here, but it is done in a DK, and it actually so Libby initially used some just standard Corridale, then some Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and some Spin Cycle Dream State. But you could actually do a couple of lots of vintage, but then throw in some of the some Whisper Fine, and I'm just going to pull this up, and I'm just going to poke all of these in here to show you what I mean as she goes jamming things into a box. Oh, look at that. There we go. So this just gives you a bit of an idea. So I've just gone and stuffed, the light in here is not brilliant, is it? Just gone and stuffed all those into a box. But as you can see, there's lots of actually neat little contrasts that you can do with the vintage with our Whisper. So that for Queenie would be fabulous. Now, the other thing this would be fabulous for is that if you were to double strand, for argument's sake, and this is not that you can see it. Oh, there we go. That's better. As you can see, that's a really lovely net. That's rose hips with petal. Those go beautifully together. Now, that's a DK with this Whisper Fine. This will give you a bulky sort of 12 ply, 14 ply knit. Now, the reason I mentioned that is, as she now goes to throw this up into the stream, is how often have you gone through the petite knits and you've been wanting to do something in here, and she's using those chunkier weights? And I think this might be a good example of that. Let's have a look. No, there's one of them that people ask me about all the time and I keep forgetting. Oh, here's a really good one. The holiday slipover would be a great example of that. Yes. So you could actually get away with this if you wanted to. You could actually double strand, if you wanted to, you could double strand your DK, double strand your vintage DK with one of these Whispers and actually get that big chunky knit. You can actually play around and create some yarns with this and actually get some different colours. So that holiday slipover was one. Was it the cloud sweater? I think was the other one. This is quite new, this one. Yeah, the cloud sweater is another one. 17 inches. You could probably get away with that with a DK with one. Actually, yeah, you would get away with that, and it'd actually give you a really lovely fabric. A DK with the Whisper will give you that, and it'll be a beautiful, beautiful, lush fabric to do that. Or where's the other one? Ah, there it is. Gosh, the Stockholm slipover. That's this one's really lovely. That's another one too. Really lush fabric if you're wanting to do that between the DK and the or even just without the fluff. Just wanted to do a straight 10 ply. That's the thing. Anything that she's got on a 4.5 millimeter needle, you can actually do in that 10 ply and just do it plain. It does give you a whole heap of options. The other thing too with vintage as well is Aran knits. You may have saw she had some there. I did a huge big adult Aran for the bestie a few years ago using vintage, and it just looks fantastic. Still looks as good as the day it came off the needles, and it's such a great option if you're wanting to a plain Aran knit. We do also have another pattern available called Entwined, which is specifically written for Kelly and Co, but you can actually do it in vintage 10 ply. It would be absolutely perfect in that. So as I said, that's available now only until Thursday at that special price, and then it comes off the special price. So there's two things that happen. The vintage spotlight ends and the freight is going to be going up. So you've got, you need to crack on and keep yourselves nice and busy for that period of time. What else have I got happening around here? Well, it's really just prep for Epic Sale. So if you want some help prepping, we've got, what are some of the things that we've got coming? Definitely if you're feeling a little bit of a shawl loving going on, I have got some finer weight yarns and some prints that'll be coming out that will be amazing for shawls, as well as some really fun a new dyeing technique which will be really, really fun in DKs. So all of these shawl patterns, actually, if you go to our patterns page, so if you just flick up, and just go to I think it's actually search yarn by type, but if you click on that and go down to patterns, you'll see a drop down and patterns is there. That shows you all the patterns that we've got in leaflet or books. So we've got a whole heap of leaflets if you're wanting to do some kids knits. We've got a heap of heirloom patterns and shepherd books in. We've just recently stocked all of those and some leaflets from them as well. A whole heap of them are predominantly DK, some 5 ply, some 4 ply, and a few 12 ply. So there's a whole heap there. And then, of course, all the Truly Myrtles, both shawls, socks, hats, and adult garments. So we've got a whole swag of leaflets up. So it means that if you're wanting to get a little bit of planning ahead, you want to pick up some vintage in that special price, now's actually a really good time to grab some patterns in your order, because if you grab your patterns or even go through your Ravelry library, print a few things out, have a look at them. This is the time to get a bit of preparedness going on. Have a look at the things that you think you might want to knit, how much you need of it. So, what would you normally need to knit a child's garment in DK or 4 ply, or an adult's garment in DK and 4 ply, what the rough amounts and meterages would be for those sorts of projects that that you want to do, for example. And the reason that I say this is that when the frenzy, if you've not done Epic Sale before or not for a while, the frenzy is crazy with Epic Sale. Our poor website, I've been on to our content management company who look after the website, like we're beefing it up in terms of traffic, allowing as much traffic as we can to get there. But it can be a bit sluggish, I won't lie. It can and things sell out really, really quickly. So the whole key to a lot of it is doing a little bit of prep ahead of time and knowing how many meters or balls or skeins of something that you roughly need in order to complete a project. And then I strongly recommend you add a minimum 15% contingency. So then that way, if you just, change your mind halfway through and you want to do something slightly different, or you make some alterations, that you've actually got enough yarn there to be able to do what you want to do, because much of the yarn that will be going out is going to be one-off only. So they are single batches that we have done. They are little bits and pieces left over from the ends of raw material batches that we've had sort of 20 kilos of this or 30 kilos of that, and we've done something fun and funky with it, and we've put it out. So if you see something that catches your eye and you think, wow, I want to do a cardigan and I need 1,200 meters, I would be buying 1,400 meters to make sure, which is 14 balls roughly if it's a DK, and then getting in there and getting ordered. So write yourself a little cheat sheet. I actually have I've actually seen this with ones coming into the shop who have a little cheat sheet of all the things that they think they roughly might do. They know what kitty knitting they're doing, or if you're a regular charity knitter, and just have a little cheat sheet of all the sort of amounts that you think you might have. In terms of getting to see what is going out on the opening day of the Epic Sale, a lot of those will probably go up the day before. I'm not telling you what that day before date is just yet, so hold your water on that one, but they will go out the day before, so you can actually have a quick browse and a look, which will be the Friday. It will start on a Saturday, I can tell you that now. So then it just does give you an opportunity to sort of check a few things out. And we are not releasing everything. The bulk of stuff is going to probably 50-60% is going to be released on that opening weekend. And then we've actually got stuff being released through the weeks, because it is literally still coming through the mill, some of it, or it's going to take a wee while for us to get it out, or we need to clear stuff out here first to make room for that to come over from the mill to get it here. So yes, so do check back. We have got stuff that is going to be added to, and this will be new stuff only, not existing product that we already have, but new stuff, brand spanking new stuff will be added across the time of the sale. So there's lots of fun, lots of really fun things to go on. I will keep you up to date a little bit closer to the time on the timing and when the dates are, and some tips and tricks to get yourself organised to survive the sale. And then we'll be into it. March will be full on. I'll pretty much be here in the shop the whole time. I'm going to be out there. So you may find that the videos for Skeinz Diaries will change. So during that epic sale period, instead of joining you at 11 o'clock, I'll probably do an update every morning at 9. Okay, so it'll be in 9 or 9:30. I'll talk. Yeah, it'll probably be 9, because we open the shop at 10. So that's what we will do. And so then we can give you an update, and I'll probably do that from inside the shop, walking around with a laptop, but it'll just give you an update of what we're doing, what's coming up that week, if we've got something new, showing you any new yarns that we have, letting you know what's selling out really fast, what you need to get your skates on with, so on and so forth. So you can, do it really, really well. Oh, hey, Lynn, morning. She said, feels like knitting season is on the way today. A little bit autumny. Yes, I hear actually the weather is on the turn up your way. It's certainly a lot gloomier here. It's quite grey, and we've got, it is feeling, you're right, Lynn, it is feeling a little bit autumny, which I have to admit I quite like. So I'm not complaining. I do quite enjoy it. Anywho, I'm going to keep moving because I have a million and one things that I've got to get ready for. I mean, honestly, epic sale for us really starts weeks out, because we've got so much to do in preparation. So I'm going to go and do that. I'm so glad to have both Facebook and YouTube back. Yay. And fingers crossed, everything. I'll touch base with you on Thursday. Leap day on Thursday, 29th. There you go. Until then, have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.